What's up, traders? Welcome back to LutaMarkets, the place where we keep our analysis sharp, our strategy solid, and our trading psychology even stronger. Now, if you've been following our weekly outlooks, you know exactly what we do here. We break down the markets before the moves happen, and then we come back midweek to check if the market has respected the plan. And wow, this week's results from our August 10th analysis, led by NZDUSD, have been something else. We're going to go pair by pair, look at what we expected, compare it to what actually happened, and most importantly, talk about why the moves unfolded the way they did. So grab your charts, grab your coffee, and let's dive in. All right, first up, the heavyweight, EURUSD. During Sunday's session, NZDUSD told us something important. Yes, the pair was looking bullish overall, but that didn't mean we were going to see a straight line to the moon. He warned us to expect a small pullback first, not because the trend was reversing, but because the market needed to complete what's called a weekly inducement. For those who are newer here, that's essentially when the market dips just enough to grab liquidity from retail traders, clear some stop-loss orders, and create the energy needed for the next push upward. And traders, that's exactly what happened. We saw price drop into that zone, take out liquidity, and then, just like it was scripted, launch higher. If you check the entry that was marked during the analysis, it hit almost perfectly. That's the power of anticipating inducement instead of being scared by it. We don't panic during the pullback, we prepare to enter. Next, let's talk about NZDUSD. This one had a very similar setup to EURUSD. Structure was bullish, but again, we expected that little shakeout before the real move. What I loved about the setup is how clean the price action was. The chart almost felt like it was reading the script we wrote on Sunday. It pulled back exactly where we said it would, tagged our zone, and then reversed beautifully to the upside. If you were watching this pair and you had the patience to wait for that inducement to finish, you were rewarded with a great entry, high probability, low risk, and clear direction. And the thing is, this wasn't luck. This was simply reading the structure, understanding liquidity, and waiting for confirmation. Now, let's move on to AUDUSD. This one was already pushing higher before the week began. But here's the thing, retail traders love to chase price when it's running. And what does the market do when that happens? It takes advantage. NZDUSD highlighted that before AUDUSD could make its next leg up, it would probably dip first to grab that liquidity from all the retail stop losses sitting below. That's exactly what we mean by weekly inducement. And sure enough, the pullback came. It wasn't random, it wasn't noise, it was a calculated move to take out traders who jumped in late. Once that was done, the market was free to continue upward without that baggage. Again, another entry opportunity for those who understood the plan and didn't get shaken out. Now, let's talk about one of NZDUSD's all-time favorite pairs, GBPUSD. And I mean favorite. This pair has a history of following the analysis almost to the pip. Week after week, we've been breaking it down, and week after week, it delivers. Looking back at the previous moves on GBPUSD, you can see how every major swing was anticipated in the updates. And that's not an accident. That's the result of knowing your pair, understanding its personality, and sticking to your trading rules without compromise. For this week, the expectation was a quick sell-off. Nothing major, just enough to create inducement before price would take off to the upside. And what happened? Exactly that. A brief drop, liquidity collected, and then GBPUSD blasted higher, breaking through key levels and rewarding those who were patient enough to wait. I always say this, when you have this level of clarity, the market feels less like chaos and more like a conversation. You say, I expect you to do this, and GBPUSD says, all right, here you go. Finally, let's check USDCHF. This pair is always interesting because it often moves in the opposite direction to EURUSD and GBPUSD. That's called negative correlation. When one goes up, the other tends to go down. So while we were expecting those other pairs to rise, USDCHF was projected to eventually fall. But before it could drop, NZDUSD pointed out we'd probably get one more push higher. Again, that's inducement at work. And that's exactly how it played out. Price went up, tapped into the key zone, and then reversed direction right on cue. It's one of those moves that's so clean, you almost want to frame the chart and hang it on the wall. So there you have it, 5 pairs, 5 accurate projections from our August 10th analysis. And listen, this is not about bragging. It's about showing you that when you combine solid strategy, market structure understanding, and risk management, the market becomes a place of opportunity instead of uncertainty. NZDUSD's accuracy doesn't come from guessing. It comes from knowing exactly what to look for, understanding how inducement works, and having the patience to wait for the right setup. If you want to catch these setups in real time, not just in the recap, make sure you're in our Telegram and Discord groups. Links are down below in the description. Also, if you found this breakdown valuable, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next market update. Until next time, stay disciplined, trade smart, and remember, the market rewards patience, not panic. This is LutaMarkets signing off.